Well, good morning, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal on a rainy Monday morning. I think it's appropriate, don't you? The skies are crying because it's Monday. I have to say it's even cooler. It's 10 degrees here in southern British Columbia, and that would make it 50 in American. And again, I think the rain is appropriate because today, for many of you in the US, for all of you in the US, and around the world who have America as your heritage, it's Memorial Day. And for those who don't know what Memorial Day is, it's the day that America honors those that fell in the very numerous wars. And you know, I've just watched some of the ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery and been deeply moved, quite honestly. Deeply, deeply moved by not only some of the people there, but also by some of the speeches there. As you can probably hear in my voice, just even thinking about it. And so let me take this moment just to thank all of you who have family members who served in any of the conflicts, and to say how much I personally appreciate the freedoms that those fallen have allowed us to have. And may we continue to have them because of brave people who are prepared to stand up for freedom. And so there's this moment of great sadness this morning, but also a moment of great gratitude. And I was thinking, as I was putting on my makeup this morning, how this moment of gratitude is really important. You know, it's funny because when you talk to people about what are you doing on Memorial Day, most of them will say, you know, going to a barbecue or going off to see the family or whatever. And you don't hear many say, I'm going to stop and give thanks. Now, I'm not saying that they're not doing that at the various barbecues and everything, and I hope that they are. And I hope that they really don't just take it as a day off. It's an incredible, incredible sacrifice that people pay so the rest of us might be free. And although not all countries celebrate this particular day, Memorial Day, we talk again about this in November when we get to Remembrance Day, which for a lot of the world is the day that we honor those that served. And I was saying on the broadcast yesterday that I heard an interesting fact on the news yesterday morning, which was that Arlington National Cemetery will basically run out of space around about 2100 if at the current rate of occupation of the burial sites. And so it was like, wow, I wonder what they'll do. I wonder where they will create Arlington 2 or the second National Cemetery. And I was pretty sure that they'd keep it within easy traveling of Washington, because obviously every year the Commander-in-Chief needs to be there. And if they're going to have two of them, then he needs to be at both. That would be probably two different ceremonies. So you think about the logistics of that. But there was part of me that thought, gosh, I wonder whether they'd put it in San Diego or somewhere where people from that part of the world, and I'm thinking all the way down that southwestern corner where we have so many servicemen volunteer from there. So anyway, that was what I was wondering. Where do you think they'll put Arlington 2? Because they will need one. And there was that part of me that wondered whether, because you have this certain amount of space between each gravesite, whether they would start a second tier, if you like, literally. I don't know. Mondays. Didn't mean it to be that sad this morning. So what's your plan for the week? I hope you have one, because if you have a plan, you normally have an interesting life. And if you don't have a plan, then life will bring you exactly what you planned. I can't remember who told me that once. It's like if you don't have a goal, you'll reach it. Nothing. So as we start this week, just take a second and think about, okay, what would you like to achieve this week? I found a very large part of staying well is to have a goal each day, however small. Just something so at the end of the day you can say, did I achieve anything today? And it is something off your very long to-do list. Even if it's 10 minutes of something off your to-do list, it's a step in the right direction. And so I want to give a heads up and a shout out here to Manon, because as some of you know, she and I have an ongoing challenge to work on our bedroom. It's for as long as I've known Manon and as long as she's known me, we've had this challenge. So we get it tidied up and then we manage to untidy it again. And it actually is quite cute, because Manon was telling me that she has already started her process as well. And I did get some work done on mine this weekend. So Manon, it's that time of the year, we're going to keep working at it. My goal for this week, Manon, is to do the area to the right-hand side of my bed, just so that you know, that section. Now, it's a very upsetting section for me because it collects things that I don't necessarily know are there. And it requires that I have a little chat with probably the dust bunnies under the bed as well, because things get kicked under there without my noticing as well. So it's going to be a big challenge. And what I plan to do this week, Manon, is to give it 10 minutes a night just to do that section. I know it sounds insane, but that's what I'm going to do. I noticed that I have been sleeping a whole lot better the last few days, and I'm not quite sure why that is. But I really do feel that my sleep is getting deeper again. For quite a while, prior to going to Vegas, for example, I was not getting the sort of sleep the restorative sleep that I need. And I definitely noticed that this weekend as well, when was it, on Friday, I actually woke up with a level of energy that I haven't had for quite a while. And because of that, I managed to get some stuff done. And on Saturday, I managed to go out and get some plants, which I've been waiting to do, and get some plants planted on my back deck. I've still got half of them to go, but at least I've started the process, and hopefully this coming weekend I will finish the process. And it's amazing how much better the deck looks when I actually get that done. Now, for those of you who might have noticed it, I actually did some more breakfast cooking on the barbecue this weekend. And wow, that was pretty impressive. I continue to be very impressed by those chef sheets. It's difficult to say. And what I'm going to do this week is to put my barbecue grill in the dishwasher and let it really soak through a couple of cycles and try and get the worst of the crud off. Or maybe I will actually just take some oven cleaner to it. I'm always worried about that when it's got that Teflon coating, but perhaps not a good idea. I think soaking it off is probably a better idea. But I do know it's going to be a long and hard job because there's quite a bit there. Now what I love about those sheets that I've got on the barbecue, or the sheet, is that when you're finished with it, you either just mop it up with a paper towel while it's still hot and liquid, or else you just turn it over and let the heat of the barbecue burn it off. How easy is that? And I'm hoping that by the time I get home tonight, the rain will have gone. It wasn't meant to be here today. I remember checking the forecast and it was meant to be a nice week all week. A little bit overcast, but a nice week. Somebody forgot to tell the clouds that. I do hate it when they don't pay attention. So on the house side, that's what I'm working on, is that part of my bedroom. And I went and did some pretty creative shopping, so I've got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to eat all week. And I was wondering about that. How many of you actually plan your meals before you go shopping? And I didn't videotape it yesterday, but just to let you know, I did pork tenderloin again last night. And some of you will remember I did the pork tenderloin with blueberries a few months back, and how good it was. And just to let you know, I did it again, and this time I added something new just for the experiment. Oh, it's really coming down. And that was, I took a can of maple baked beans. In other words, regular baked beans, Heinz baked beans, but in a maple sauce. And I liquidized that in my magic bullet and added that to the mixture. Yep. Very tasty, but very filling. And that was the interesting part of it. It really was a very filling meal. It was filling enough that I sent 2 helpings downstairs again after we finished, and then still had some more upstairs. So, a very economical meal. Not economical because the pork tenderloins, were expensive, but what I mean is it was a good value for money, and very easy to do, of course, because it just slowly cooks all day. And I think I'm going to start having a look at some more of those sort of recipes. I've got a whole wonderful binder of crock-pot recipes. But I really have not tried most of them, so I was thinking I should really try some of those. Just to make a break, because I find in the summer you spend so much time eating stuff on the grill that every now and then something in a crock pot is a nice change. I've got to put some soap in my windshield washer. Obviously, my windshields are dirty again. I was thinking about how thankful I am, talking of Memorial Days and memories, and how grateful I am, for example, for the core group of viewers who have, broadcast viewers particularly, who have stuck by through thick and thin over the last few years. And the reason I want to particularly give them credit, because we ended up doing we do an almost private session on a Friday night. It's by sort of invitation only and by password only. And that particular broadcast this week turned out to be very, very meaningful indeed for a lot of people. And although I cannot discuss what we talked about, what I do want to do is to say that it was the sort of conversation that you can only have amongst people that you trust to a very large degree. And in that alone, I was so incredibly grateful, because one by one, the various members of the group told stories that really told the rest of the room that they trusted them with that information. And with tears in my eyes, that really stunned me, and was in so many ways a dream come true. Because I've always said the whole reason that I started Dear Mama Sal was to be an extended family for people to tell their truth to and hopefully get support. And it certainly was that on Friday. And unfortunately, some of the regulars missed the meeting, if you like, and that was just the way that it is. But for those who were there, and there were plenty there, thank you so much to all of you. Thank you for being there in support of so many, and thank you particularly in sharing what you did so that other people felt comfortable enough to share what they did. And I know that each one of you who was in that room must have been quite stunned, as was I, at the amount of information that was divulged that day. I was deeply touched, honored, and rewarded. If that's I'm not sure if that is a right word for me to use, but it's the word that comes to my mind. Because you do a lot of work, and then suddenly something like that happens, and you go, wow, it's all worthwhile. It's all worthwhile. So thank you, everybody that was there, and thank you for discussing the things that you did. We did some great broadcasts, public ones as well, and that was great fun. We got into some pretty interesting conversations, especially as it was Memorial Day weekend. And one of the conversations I was having was about what I had heard about the British military, which I hadn't heard before. And that is that they have made so many cuts to the British military that they're now down to like 40,000 members. 40,000. Their total force. And I had no idea that it had dropped that far. And my comment was, you know, whenever we think about world conflicts, we think about, obviously, the US going into, because it's the power. And then the second one we think of is the UK, which is apparently not necessarily so anymore that it is. But even so, they have done such an incredible job of supporting so many different freedoms. So my thanks to all my UK viewers as well. And for all of you who have lost family members, and many of you will have done. Thank you. From this side of the pond. Okay, I'm just looking at a really interesting looking car. and it's got different color panels. Like the front hood panel is one color, but the front door panel is slightly different. And then the back door was the same color as the hood color, or bonnet in England, but the trunk section, or boot in England, was a different color again, slightly different. So it looks like it was put together from a jigsaw puzzle in some way. Quite cute. So my big thanks to all of you. I'm hoping that you all have a wonderful day. I'm going to. Luckily I won't be watching too much of the rain. I'll be having my head down and really trying to get ahead on. I've just about caught up from where I was before I went away to Vegas. So it'll be great fun to be able to do that this week, hopefully. If I keep working diligently, it'll all be caught up. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Please be kind to one another, and most of all, remember, every time you see your national flag, every time you sing your national anthem, remember how many people gave their lives so you could be free. This is dear Mama Sal saying bye-bye for now.